whatever energy one might see in my work is derived from the energy that I receive from the city itself. I grew up right here in Newark in the Ironbound section. All of these sounds and everything tended to make one a little bit more active during the day. I mean, you sort of got into the rhythms of the Bethlehem Steel plant behind me, the Barth Smelting Company plant across the street from me, the junkyards down the street, the planes overhead, the boats with the whistles, and you could hear the trains going along the railway right across the river in Harrison. And all these sounds produced their own kind of rhythm, and that rhythm, even though I wasn't aware of it at that time, actually became a part of me. And even though now I live in a much quieter neighborhood, it's very hard for me to get used to because I grew up with those rhythms and sounds of the city. And they manifest themselves in the writing itself that I do, because almost all the plays that I've ever written take place in the city with those same kinds of sounds in my characters' ears and heads and memories that I had when I was coming up. So the city is as it is a very great part of me, it's a great part of the plays that I write, and it's reflected in all of my work. The neighborhood that I grew up in is very much different from Howard Street that Hurd writes about, or it's different from the Newark that Baraka might write about, or the Harlem that Perry Thomas wrote about. My neighborhood had some of the same problems. We had our share of alcoholics. We had our share of people who wound up in Trenton State or Clinton Correctional and all of that. But at the same time, it was a very strong working class neighborhood with people from all walks of life, European immigrants. There was even a Japanese war bride who lived on that street. There was a great many people from the Caribbean, a great many people from Puerto Rico. There were a lot of black people who had come to Newark during the war to work in the defense plants and at the shipyards and things like that, and just stayed on after the war was over. And we all grew up together amidst all those factories and everything. And while it wasn't the easiest of lives, it was a very comfortable life because we had very strong family ties and a very strong neighborhood. And so my view of city life is a little bit at odds with the more preponderant view, which is one of the city is a horrible place full of dark, menacing creatures who are lurking on every street corner ready to grab some kid up.